From a cameo from our favorite superhero to the audience not falling for a very desperate attempt at saving the film, The Flash's secret in the post-credit scene has shocked fans. If there's one thing that any of us have learned from the post-credit scene, it's that while there are so many different variations in the multiverse, there's still one hero who'll stay the same. The Flash ran for almost 2.5 hours, making it a long, long journey. Even for the fastest man alive. Yet it was all worth the wait, wasn't it? We had one hell of a scene waiting for us as soon as the credits finished rolling. Now here's the thing, post-credit scenes aren't a new thing as far as superhero movies are concerned. Marvel and DC have always included them in most of their films and shows, but it's unusual for these end credit scenes to generate as much hype as the one for The Flash did. When the movie had an early premiere at CinemaCon 2023, the true ending and the post-credit scene were removed to prevent any leaks and spoilers. There's no doubt that some big cameos and reveals did make their way onto the internet well before the film was ever released. The director, Andy Muschietti, revealed one of the many cameos in the film early on.
We honored the part of the movie that he that he created in terms of characters and characterizations and cast.
And this much talked about post-credit scene, it features a superhero whose appearance was also leaked beforehand. I'll give you a hint. The leaked footage caused quite a stir on social media, with fans wanting to boycott the movie because they didn't appreciate how their favorite superhero was portrayed. The end credit scene of this movie reunites Barry Allen and Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman. For most of the film, Barry Allen keeps talking about how he doesn't have the right social skills to make friends.
I need friends. People are difficult. They require a lot of focus.
This is exactly what he blames for his lack of a big circle of people around him. Yeah, he has his co-workers in the Justice League, and he finally gets a date with Iris West. But other than that, the only social interaction he has is with his super rude co-workers at the CCPD. But the problem is, Barry clearly needs someone to talk to. Someone he can tell about his multiversal time travel adventure that changed everything. After all, another former Batman ended up replacing Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, all because of what Barry did. So now he needs someone to talk to, a friend maybe, but he doesn't have many. So who does he turn to? His rough and tough team member, Arthur Curry, played by Jason Momoa. Let me set the scene for you. The scene starts with Barry and Aquaman leaving a bar. Barry's had a few drinks in him, but he doesn't feel anything at all. Why? It's all thanks to his lightning-fast metabolism. Arthur, on the other hand, yeah, he's a goner. He's drunk out of his mind, staggering around in the streets of Central City, senseless. Maybe Arthur needed some booze in his system to hear what Barry had done. Well, time travel isn't an easy pill to swallow.
That it can't help reliving. Different people, different worlds.
While they're drunk, Barry tells him something interesting. He says that there are many different Batmans out there in the multiverse, but in the case of Aquaman himself, they all look the same. They all look exactly like the Aquaman we know and love from the DCEU. As soon as he hears that, he tumbles right into a puddle, falling face first. For most alcoholics, this would have been a drowning hazard, but for the Atlantean, not so much. The scene caused quite a stir. A lot of fans didn't like this portrayal of the character. According to them, it doesn't align with the Aquaman that we know from the Justice League and the Aquaman movie. At the end of the day, he's a hero. So showing him like that didn't sit too well with a lot of people. But then there's the other side, the side that thinks that this scene makes perfect sense. Aquaman does have the potential to get this drunk. Just take a look at his previous drinking habits. He might not have gotten this drunk before, but when you factor in just how much he drinks, it's incredibly likely that he'll end up falling into a puddle. He talked to Aquaman about time travel, and I'm going to do the same. The entire thing revolved around Batman's being different, right?
You are?
Yeah. I'm Batman.
Well, that led to a question. How did Michael Keaton's Batman know how time travel works? The Flash has answered many multiverse-related questions. Except this. Early on in the film, Barry travels back in time to save Nora Allen, his mother.
I lost both parents in one day.
Barry! Call 911 now! I went back in time to save my parents.
He does that successfully, but then this creates a much bigger problem. Barry ends up messing with the timeline, and now he's in a universe where almost everything is different. Batman still exists in Barry's new universe, and so does Superman, but it's just not Ben Affleck's Batman that Barry knew from the start. Neither is the Kal-El, who landed in Kansas. These two heroes have now been replaced with Michael Keaton's Batman and Sasha Calle's Supergirl. The thing here is that Michael's Batman is different, and unlike The Flash, this is the only reality that he knows. So how does he know how all of this works? For starters, he could have learned about this off-screen. Keaton's Batman won't be returning in The Flash 2 if it's made, so you won't get the chance to learn how he figures out time travel. But luckily for you, you've got me. This film does provide some hints as to how Batman figures it all out. First, it's a fact that Affleck's Batman knows a thing or two about space-time exploration. We see him discussing the drawbacks of time travel with Barry. So, to become Batman, you need to be rich, and you need to be smart as heck. This means that every Bruce Wayne, in every universe, understands time travel simply because they're all a bunch of geniuses. But then there's also the fact that Barry spent some time explaining his entire predicament to Keaton. So when you add that to his intellect, you see how he may start understanding it quite well. But there's another possible reason. That's the fact that he's been Batman for a long time. The Batman that we see in The Flash has been active for a while now. Gotham's one of the safest cities on the planet now, which means that the guy's retired. So he would have spent his time researching many different things. Since he's got such a curious mind, this means that he could have been learning about alternate dimensions and time travel. But the most likely theory is that he would have researched time travel when he lost his parents. What's the entire premise of this movie? It's all based on the fact that Flash goes back in time to save his mom, right? Well, Batman lost his parents at a very young age too, and he definitely would have wanted to find a way to go back in time to save them just as Barry did. And this makes the most sense now, doesn't it? But you know what? Batman was put in this movie to make it a success, yet it didn't seem to work. The Flash is tied with Batman v Superman for the lowest cinema score in the DCU. The problem is that this movie was meant to be a major turning point for the DCU. This is what they were going to base all of their other movies on. It was going to save the DCU and maybe, just maybe, bring it up to par with Marvel. But that didn't happen. It didn't draw the praise that the studio was hoping for. So CinemaScore asked moviegoers in the United States and Canada about the movie on the opening weekend, and then gives the movie a grade that ranges from A+ to F. While The Flash didn't get an F, it still got a B. Now, B doesn't sound so bad, right? Well, the thing is, Man of Steel and Aquaman both got an A-, Shazam 2, Black Adam, and The Suicide Squad scored a B+. Wonder Woman and Shazam both got an A, so when you consider that, this movie really wasn't all that great. Let's be real for a second. James Gunn and Peter Safran will need to do a lot of work to correct the course. The Flash, that's not going to save them. So there you have it. From the audience just not falling for this desperate attempt at saving the film, to a cameo from none other than our favorite superhero. This was everything about The Flash's secret in the post-credit scene that shocked the fans.